Cream of the crop! Nobody does it better!
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Fly back at it again, the voice of the voiceless, aka the faceless one. And back in Zoe, we learned that there were these special poneglyphs that lead you to Laugh-Tale, specifically four, called the road poneglyphs. These were red stones, unlike the regular poneglyphs which were dark blue. One being hidden in the whale forest back at Zoe, the other being in the possession of Big Mom, and the other being in the possession of Kaido, with the last one being unknown, but the last location we saw of it was back on Fishman Island 20 plus years ago. And once the Wano arc is over, Luffy would have 3/4 of the road poneglyphs in his possession, making him the closest person to Laugh-Tale and becoming the Pirate King. Unless someone like Law or Kid decides to rob him, which has been theorized a little bit over the community that Law is going to betray the Straw Hats and take the rubbings. Honestly, if Kid or Law don't do it, they're kind of dumb in my opinion and are officially out the race of Pirate King. Where exactly is the final road poneglyph? I mentioned earlier that the last time we saw it was on Fishman Island, but the last time Nekomamushi and Inuarashi was talking to the Straw Hats on Zoe, they currently said that the location of the fourth road poneglyph is unknown and no one knows where it is. Now the question is, where exactly is the final road poneglyph? I think that once Wano is done, the next big arc or maybe saga similar to Thriller Bark will be the search for the final poneglyph. Everyone's searching for the last road poneglyph because I'm going to assume that everyone in the pirate world is going to know that Luffy is going to have 3/4 of the poneglyph because of his attackings on Whole Cake Island on Wano. So put two and two together, you're going to assume that he has the rubbing. So I think it's going to be a search and race for the final poneglyph. Many people have speculated and theorized that this final poneglyph is in Elbaf. Now, why the land of the giants? Why did the road poneglyph move from Fishman Island to Elbaf? Well, Elbaf is one of the last few islands that the Straw Hats need to travel to that has been foreshadowed for many years. In fact, it's been foreshadowed since before Wano back in Little Garden, which was even before Alabasta. So it's literally been over a decade since Elbaf has been mentioned. Many people have connected Shanks with Elbaf, and Elbaf might be Shanks' territory because of the similarities and the inspirations both parties have with the Vikings. And Shanks was once a member of Roger's ship, and they went to Fishman Island to get the last road poneglyph, so Shanks knows where it was. So it's highly possible that Shanks took the poneglyph and moved it to somewhere else, maybe Elbaf, because he knows they can protect it because they are most definitely one of the strongest races on the planet. There's also another possibility, and that is Whitebeard. Whitebeard might have took the poneglyph and moved it somewhere else because he knows what One Piece is and what Laugh-Tale is and how to get there, and he made Fishman Island his territory once Roger passed. So it's possible that with his relationship with Neptune that he took the road poneglyph and put it somewhere else. And very few people know about the road poneglyph and where its location is in the first place. So Whitebeard, Shanks are very few people, and the remnants of the Roger Pirates and some of the remnants of the Whitebeard Pirates might know where it is. And one of those members is Blackbeard. Blackbeard was once a member of the Whitebeard Pirates, so it's very possible that he knows where the last road poneglyph is, and maybe it's in his possession in some way, somehow. Blackbeard may not actually have the road poneglyph, but he might know where it is because he was once a member of Whitebeard's crew, and Whitebeard may have took it and put it somewhere else for safekeeping. But the theory that I want to propose today is that the final road poneglyph is in fact actually still on Fishman Island. I know a lot of people are probably questioning, if it's on Fishman Island, why didn't Neptune tell Luffy and the crew about it? Now we know from Oden's flashback 25 years ago that the road poneglyph was in the same spot as Joy Boy's apology, but in the present time it's no longer there, so that's to be assumed that the poneglyph has been moved. But it's still a possibility that the road poneglyph has been moved, but it's still on Fishman Island, or at least near the island. Maybe it has sunk to the bottom of the ocean. But Neptune may have just moved the road poneglyph and never said anything about it because maybe no one asked him about it. Similar to when Roger was talking to Oden and Nekomamushi and Inuarashi about the poneglyphs, and they mentioned to Roger that yeah, they have a road poneglyph back in Wano, and he asked, why didn't you guys tell me? And it was basically assumed because Roger just never asked, or the situation or the conversation just never came up until recently. It's highly likely that someone like Shanks or Whitebeard simply just moved the road poneglyph to a different location to prevent any disasters happening on Fishman Island, because a lot of pirates do enter through Fishman Island since there's only two entrances into the New World, and that's Fishman Island and Mary Jo's. But I'm gonna go with this theory that the road poneglyph has been on Fishman Island the whole time, but it's just on a different location, or as at least nearby, because I just find it more interesting, and there's there's a lot more implications if that were the case. And the road Poneglyph being on Fishman Island actually makes a bit of sense to me, because if you remember the prophecy that Madame Shirley made was that someone with a straw hat, presumably Luffy, is gonna come and destroy Fishman Island. And many people have been wondering how that prophecy is gonna happen. Like, when will Luffy go back to Fishman Island? How is he even gonna go back, and why would he go back? Well, what if the road Poneglyph is on Fishman Island, and that would be a good enough reason for Luffy to head back. Recent events of One Piece in chapter 982, it was revealed that Yamato still has or has found Oden's journal, and Oden's journal has him documenting his entire journey throughout the One Piece world, and in that journal it should have the location of the road Poneglyph possible. I don't think Oda will go so far to have Oden write down exactly what Laugh Tale is or how exactly to get there, but I can definitely see him writing down where he found the road Poneglyphs or where he found the Poneglyphs, because he knows how to read them and write. It's possible that Oden wrote documents on his sightings of the road Poneglyphs or other Poneglyphs within the One Piece world, so maybe at the end of Wano or sometime in the future when they're looking for the road Poneglyph, Yamato says, "Oh, why didn't you mention that earlier? I know where it is. It's back on Fishman Island. It was mentioned in Oden's journal." Because I think that journal is going to be very important in the near future. I'm not exactly sure how, but this is definitely a possibility. And once that's mentioned, everyone will probably look at Jinbei, and Jinbei might be like, "I never heard of this. Maybe we should go check it out." Or maybe he does know, but he just didn't know the purpose of it, so they head back to Fishman Island. I had a theory, or at least I have a theory, that everything, the Yonko saga, will culminate on Fishman Island, and to me it kind of makes a little bit of sense, and I'll explain why. Because back on Fishman Island, or near the end of Fishman Island, Caribou found out that Shirahoshi was Poseidon, one of the ancient weapons, and then later on he was later captured by Drake and sent to Kaido. He's currently on Wano, or at least Onigashima, presumably. But when he found out the information that Shirahoshi was an ancient weapon, he did say that that person would love to hear about this, so there was someone in mind that he wanted to tell, but we don't know who exactly. My assumption is it was Blackbeard. It makes sense, those guys are dark evil motherfuckers, so it would fall in line with Caribou wanting to impress Blackbeard by being like, "Oh hey, there's an ancient weapon, Poseidon, on Fishman Island, that will get Blackbeard's interest and he would want to go." So that's Blackbeard wanting to go, that's Big Mom's territory, so obviously she's not gonna let that fly. She's gonna want to go. Before the alliance happened, I thought that Caribou was gonna spill the beans to Kaido and be like, "Hey, like, don't hurt me. I know about the ancient weapon Poseidon's on Fishman Island," and Kaido would go, and then obviously Luffy wouldn't let that slide and just be a big ass war. And plus we have the whole cleansing going on, and we're unsure exactly what that is. But I think that Im-sama knows that Shirahoshi is Poseidon, so the Marines or the world government are gonna get involved some way, somehow. Now I'm unsure if these events are gonna unfold the way I envision them, but it's still possible with Big Mom and Kaido's alliance. Maybe they still do find out, Caribou snitches to them and or gets scared, and or somehow they find out that Shirahoshi is Poseidon. Obviously Kaido's gonna want that or want to know about that, and he's gonna want to go get it, along with Big Mom, who's gonna want to go get it. And the world government, because they're an alliance, they don't want the Yonko to get hands on the ancient weapon, and Luffy obviously doesn't want Shirahoshi to be in trouble, so he's gonna want to go. So some way, somehow, I think this battle's gonna happen, and Shanks obviously could get involved because he's the keeper of the peace, and this is gonna end the world if this were to happen. And the world will be in great danger if someone like Kaido, Big Mom, or Blackbeard got the hands of Poseidon. And then a giant battle will happen on Fishman Island, not only for Fishman Island and saving the race and saving Shirahoshi, but also for the search of the final Poneglyph. Luffy destroys the island, saying this island belongs to no one, and then the fishmen are free. Maybe Yonko, Big Mom, and Kaido die from this. Like, maybe Big Mom gets eaten by Sea King. That would be hilarious. I think that would be ironic. The girl that eats everything gets eaten, and that's how she dies. And maybe Kaido sinks to the bottom of the ocean. That's probably not gonna happen, but that's been my theory for a very long time. And I think that if the road Poneglyph is still on Fishman Island, everything will culminate and tie some loose ends, or they just might go to Fishman Island later after, when they're on the way to Mary Jo's and the whole cleansing happens and they want to go stop. It's possible the Sea Kings are protecting the final road Poneglyph, and when Luffy gets back, this is when he'll finally have a discussion with them, and we'll have a lot more insight into the world of One Piece. And it would be a good way to tie the plot line with the Sea Kings and Luffy hearing them and trying to talk to them, and Roger talking to them all those years ago. Maybe they'll finally have the courage to have a discussion with Luffy once Luffy finds the final Poneglyph and goes back to Fishman Island. That could be possible, or Shanks is just hiding it and he's just waiting to meet Luffy and he will show Luffy the final, because I'm unsure how the prophecy Madame Shirley made is going to come true and why or how Luffy would go back to Fishman Island, unless the theory of they're going to get Pluton and destroy the Red Line, and because the Red Line will get destroyed, it will destroy Fishman Island. That could make sense. Or maybe the prophecy isn't about Luffy, but it's actually about Im-sama. We did see he had a straw hat in this cold little refrigerator, so maybe that straw hat belonged to Im-sama, and Im-sama will be the cause of destruction for Fishman Island. Just a little food for thought. Anyways, that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I just really want to talk about the location of the 4th and final Poneglyph. I would love it to be on Fishman Island. I think it would tie a lot of things together. The prophecy and everything is finally culminating, and the connection with Fishman Island and all these major big players. I think it would make sense to me at least. But I would also love it to be on Elbaf, the land of the giants, this mythical island that's been talked about for Shadowbat since like before Drum Island. It would be kind of nuts. Or Shanks is hiding it and he's just waiting to show Luffy, or possibly it's at the grave of Ace and Whitebeard and maybe dig it up and there it is. I don't know. Put down in the comments what you think of this video and where you think the location of the final Poneglyph is. I will repeat that once Wano is over, Luffy will be the closest person to the One Piece because he will have 3/4 of the final Poneglyphs, and once Wano is over, we are heading into the end game because there's probably not much longer of the story left. Not in real time because there's going to be a lot more years, but I mean in story, because all they really need to do is find the final Poneglyph, head to Laugh Tale, and then the final war, and then One Piece should be over. Or at least that's what Oda makes it seem. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, subscribe, and click the bell icon to stay notified. Follow me on twitch.tv to catch my live streams where we talk about anime, play games, and just chill. Hope you guys have a good day and a good night. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Toodles!